Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Broadcast, what are you talking about?
Look it, because Luis just switched it, but it stayed on Hilner. Cool.
Hello. Hello and welcome to the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. Welcome to this extremely amateur opening to this broadcast, but the rest of it's going to be extremely professional because this is round 3 of the championship, and we are here at Red Bull Ring National Circuit for 2 races tonight. A 30 minutes race 1 and then a 20 minutes race 2. Austin, we've seen some super close racing so far this season. Of course, we've got a bumper field once again tonight, about 45 drivers out on circuit around this extremely short circuit. I mean, it's crazy that these are sprint races, yet we've got 30 plus lap races tonight.
Yeah, 30 plus lap races. Once again, sorry about that intro. We certainly made a Alpine level effort right there at the start. Sorry. But yeah, very close races so far at the start of this championship as we are getting ready for the next round here at Red Bull Ring, but it's going to be the national layout, which is a much different layout than most of these drivers are used to.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who aren't familiar with this layout, you basically turn right after turn 1, and then you get into the kind of S's area, and then you get the last 2 corners. There's really not much to the circuit. And one of the elements I think that we're going to be talking about a lot tonight, Austin, is the off-tracks, because it kind of keeps all the tricky off-track corners on the track. So turn 1, the penultimate corner, the final corner. And these guys are running at such a high level. These are guys aiming for, PESC next year. They are going to be pushing that right to the limit, and so just managing those off tracks, making sure that you don't waste any, making sure that when you do use some, that you that you're taking full advantage of them, is going to be absolutely crucial for these guys. It's not necessarily the most fun elements ever, but I think it's something that we're going to really see on the margins tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few drivers go over the margins on that.
Yeah, margin is here and there. There is some drama going on with the Porsche qualifying series right now. We're not going to address it at all. But current points standings, it's still Michael Janney on top of the points right there. Almost 30 points, 29 points to be exact. Ahead of Mads Johansson and Sergio in 3rd place. Roger Christensen in 4th, and Leon Penn, your top 5 Moritz Launer with that hop into last race of that win is up into 8th place. Our Pro-Am standings, it's Thomas Wangen at the top of the points by 8 points ahead of James Parker, Andreas Meyer in third, followed by Joshua Agzari and Thomas Torp in 5th place. Pro-Am Championship, very tight. And let's take a look at our AMS Championship. Not as tight as Pro-Am's. 201 for Victor Taras, who has just been on fire. Victor, I believe he finished in the top 3 in our sprint race last round at Silverstone. Yeah, he did. And the Walk Racing Esports driver is very dominant right there. 41-point lead over 2nd place.
Yeah, he's been absolutely superb. I watched a little bit of that second race. Unfortunately, I was away for that broadcast, but he was, yeah, really holding his own at the front. He wasn't too far off the top in the end. So, yeah, really competitive is Taras. Very low iRacing, and so that's why he's in the amateurs. But I think he's fairly new to iRacing, and I'm sure he'll be upwards of, 4, maybe even 5K eventually. Whereas at the start of the season, he was less than 2K, which is less than me. And he has surely already far surpassed any talents I ever exhibited. The drivers are really not out on circuit. It's such a short track, and they're limited to just 2 lap times. Everyone's done, pretty much. Apart from a couple. Victor Moldovan is crossing the line here. Also Michael Yanni, who's of course the championship leader. Can Yanni go to the top? Moldovan goes 8th. Yanni, is that invalidated? I think it is. He's got 1 more lap to set. James Parker's also out on circuit. However, I don't believe that he has any more lap times left. He's just getting a bit more practice in before he gets into the race, as we have a bit of a tour of this circuit. And that's the most notable corner, probably. Austin, it's the one that we don't know too well, that right-handed turn 2, which takes us as a cut through the track.
Yeah, if you do not like hills, this is the circuit that you're very familiar with. You go slightly up the hill after turn 1, and then it's a double right-hander apex and double right-hander hairpin right in front of the stands where you usually see painted orange. And Michael invalidated it again. No lap time for our championship leader. Michael Yanni will be starting at the end of the grid.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's
And it was in the
I'm
final
amazed.
corner where he got it. Just
And I mean, I imagine he'd rather make that mistake tonight than on Saturday. But he is, yeah, that's unfortunate for him. It just shows how tight it is, like I was saying earlier on,
yeah,
with the
it's
off tracks.
actually, I don't think he's going to be. I said I'm not going to address it. Not going to address it.
Not going interested. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We're not there. You can make up your own minds in the chat. So 41 drivers did set.
If you follow these drivers
qualifying
on Twitter,
and-
you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't,
Exactly. Yeah.
look at the forums.
Just got a minute left of qualifying. A few drivers have got qualifying or pit lane starts to serve tonight. That's Luka Domke, Maxime Marriott, PJC, Paul Joseph Clist, Pete Wadsworth, and Shane Dunn, all starting from the pits for the race 1. And then Yanni will be around that level. Also, Emil Koopmans as well, taking also invalidated most of his laps. I think Thomas Minot as well, as the session is soon going to be ticking over. Great chance for the RPC Esports drivers then tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Austin, they were so strong last season. Strom, Christiansen and Goddestad finishing top 3 in the championship. Hasn't been a great start to the season for them with the arrival of some extremely quick guys, but they have seemingly absolutely nailed this circuit. They know it extremely well, seemingly.
Yeah, Moritz Lahner, we saw him show up and really pull out some amazing runs in Silverstone. We're going to see if he could return that favor with another win. He took the pro victory. Well, the last 2 races were belonging to him, the feature and the sprint race. Here is our starting grid for our feature race. Strom will be starting up a pole, followed by Christensen and Goddardstad, followed by Moritz Lahner. Leon Penn, Andreas Meyer up in 6th place, highest pro-am. Tim Jarcel, Bogdan Moldovan, Matthias Stobak, Mads Johansson, and Carl Herzog, followed by Sergio in 12th place. Behind them, it's Matteo Kunzer, Glenn Key, Nicholas Nold, Ross Steele, Thomas Wang, and Antoine Mais, Thomas Torp, Jacob Barons, and Max Gutterstenbakken. Victor Taras is our top AM driver once again, starting down in 22nd, followed by James Parker and Philip Hammer in 24th. Taj Edwards and Matthias Martinson in 25th and 26th, followed by Joshua Alexari, Lucas Lang, Joe Altus, and Thomas Worm, Alexander Scarrett, and Peter Wadsworth in 32nd, followed by Gordon Howe, Daniel Merchant, Hilner Wilhelmsen, and Kim Borklund in 36th place. And behind him is Simon Medokiev, Thomas Jenkins, and Nick Horn, followed by Ronald Moons, Holger Meifarts, and behind them is Michael Yanni, Maxime Marinette, Koopmans, Minot, and Domko, drivers who have set, and James Chaplin at the end of our 47-car grids. Those last 6 drivers either invalidated lap times or no lap time, banned for qualifying. So we're going to have fast drivers at the back, fast drivers at the front. It's going to be a lot of fun here at Tight Twisty Red Bull National for our 3rd round of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championships. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, I hope y'all are ready for this, because we are about to get ready to rock and roll here at Red Bull Ring as the green lights are on, as we are green, 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 and away we go. A little bit of a wheel spin from second place. Christensen lights at the wheels just a slightly bit, and Goddesad is going to be on to his outside. Look at Moritz Launer looking down to the inside of turn 1. He wanted to make a move very early. Watch that soft curve on the outside. A few of the drivers going out there pretty wide as we are side by side way back there, and I think we're 3 wide at one point as we head our first time into this diversional hairpin right now, but it's a 1, 2, 3 Norwegian storm right there.
Yeah, excellent start for the teammates to get away from this first lap. Well, that's exactly what they were looking for. Johansson very close to Moldovan currently out there as well as they head through this penultimate corner for the first time. And already we're getting the first lap in the book here at Red Bull Ring. And remember, it's crucial for these drivers to make moves in the early stages. Or the tyres can get very overheated within a couple of laps. Alongside here for Mays, he's near the top of the Pro Am field at the moment. And we've got a little bit of boxing in for the driver just on his outside. That's Carl Friedrich Hassog right there, who has lost that position. Wasn't really much he could do. The driver on his inside as Mayer is going to go off the circuit.
Yeah, Mayer's got to watch out on how wide he goes through that corner, because there is a barrier right on the outside, and one of the cars just dropped down. And becomes Modovan. He's serving a slowdown penalty through that corner, and it's just so fast this lap time around here. Our first lap was 51 seconds, and that's from a standing start by Storm. You're going to be seeing a very quick lap time right now when they come across this line, as they are now putting in 49-second lap times. As we got a replay of an incident at the start. This is Meinhardt looking... it's just going to be looking down. Oh, hello, 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 hello. Oh, that is a late dive by the 387 of Hilner Wilhelmsen. Man, that was a very ambitious dive down to the inside. As
yes, put the two of them.
Thomas Wengen is having an issue. They just dropped down. They were near the front, Thomas Wengen, and they have dropped all the way down to 38th place. As this is Wengen on the outside. As he just came from turn 1. Just got tapped right there. There's that barrier on the outside. Boom! Hits that barrier. And that barrier is something you do not want to see. So we are back to live. The images. Actually, no, it's not live. Look down to the inside by Launer, and Launer overcooked the brakes, and yeah, there's that barrier. He has to get back onto the track, gets into the barrier, but Launer, look at, oh my gosh, it's like this is reminding me of that Nürburgring Formula 1 race in the rain where everybody went off at turn 1 and into the wall, this is such a horrible round right there. Multiple drivers being caught out. Launer dropping from 4th all the way down to 17th. He's made up a spot to 16th right now, but drivers getting off track, drivers getting slowdowns and everything. Chaos here at Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, that was absolute craziness. I was trying to figure out who it was behind. I think that was Vangen then, who went off behind.
It was Vangen.
Yeah. So, yeah, bad news for him right there. As we head into turn 2, we're going to see a little bit more side by side. Maya's being able to set up that at the moment, but Coenza now top of the Pro-Ams. Maya down a few places from his race start so far, down 4 places from his race start. So got alongside that is Lang and Martinson. Look at the train of cars behind as well. They're all queuing up behind. They've been a little bit checked up, and now they are going to see some big moves heading through the final 2 corners. Yanni storming his way up the order. He's 17 places gained. That's absolutely incredible from the Apex Racing Academy driver so far, and he's got 3 more right in front of him who I think he'll be passed in very quick succession. And we've got Edwards up into the wall, or did he manage to escape?
He didn't get to the wall. He got onto the brakes, but he got a lot of grass exiting that corner right there as he went storming straight ahead. As this is Lucas Lang just ahead of Martin said. There's a replay of Taj Edwards. There's side by side right behind Michael Yanni. Does he just get tapped wide from the 292? Yes, he does. Gets tapped wide into the grass. A big trip into the grass. Actually, that was Taj Edwards that made the tap. It was a 302 of Victor Taras, who was the one that got shot out wide. So our AMS championship leader by nearly 40 points just got, well, elbowed off the track.
Yeah,
but I don't believe he hit the wall.
Yeah, it means that now Thomas Verm is the leader of the amateur category ahead of Merchant and Hawk, Jenkins and Koopmans, who Koopmans didn't even start a qualifying. He's up 11 places from his race start as Koopmans. So absolutely incredible for him so far. Here is our amateur race leader, but he's got to be making sure he makes the moves through the Pro-Ams. And I think just behind them, that was Edwards moving past. Yeah, was that Edwards moving past Wolf? I'm not quite sure. No, this is yeah, very close between the lots of them and yeah, lots of moves going on right now. And these guys now 18 seconds off the lead. That kind of demonstrates just how much the field spread can take effect in these early stages, but starting to have a little bit more division now between each of these cars. Not quite as bunched up. I wouldn't be surprised if they compress back later on in the race.
Yeah, so currently right now everyone's just looking after those tires and just finding spots. And Red Bull Ring's very hard track to pass at, but we do have some passes heading into turn 2. I believe that would be Meyer. We just had a move attempted on him, was able to defend from that. We got a good 3-way battle for 10th place going on between Meyer and Key. As you can see, this train of 3 cars. We got the 2 teammates of Andreas. Yeah, that's Racing Labs Esports, Meyer and Key, and they got Nold right behind them, looking for that 10th spot that Meyer is in. Meyer in a pro sandwich right there, but they're just trying to catch up to Keens here, up ahead in 7th place.
Yeah, it's cool.
Great try so far.
Yeah, really good stuff from him so far in this race. Always he has to go a little bit defensive here, does Meyer. But I think it's that turn 2 is like the main point, and if you can defend around there, then you can feel quite confident around the rest of the circuit. Bad news is that you are going through that turn 2 every 30 odd seconds, so it's yeah, not even if you do cover it off a few times, you're probably going to be vulnerable eventually. As Tom Jenkins looks like he's gone slightly wide there.
So Gordon Hogg, the car that was kind of flipping along the grass at 371. All over the place as Tom Jenkins took the chaos heading above him as everyone's checking up to look for this move, but Wangan and Jenkins going side by side. Wangan's able to go down to the inside and get into 33rd place as Hopmans and Hogg are in that battle for 31st. There we go, side by side. Here comes Koopman on Hogg. Side by side down the start-finish race. Let's start-finish straight. And into turn 1, laid onto the brakes right behind it. Hogg gets a little bump from behind as Koopman's up into 31st. And oh, in the background we got a spinner. That's Marriott.
Marriott's. Oh, he was making his way through. He was up about 10 places from his race start. Was the pro driver. 132 now drops to the back. Now, what happens here? Was it a solo mistake? Certainly looks like it's going to be. Probably a rise.
No,
oh no, it was a spin. Oh, that was unlucky.
378 of Nick Horn. Nick was the one that spin, and Maxine was just the one who hit him. Oh, those are the worst. See
Yeah, I
that.
don't think Korn did a whole lot wrong. You don't really have any control. It looks like you have control from the outside, but when you're on board, you just have no idea where the car's going to go with your steering angle. So that was just a very unfortunate mistake right there. Meanwhile, Moritz Lohner up to, well, he's down 10 places from his race start, but he has made up some positions from where he fell. I think he was around 20th position, I think, at one point. But he's in 14th position now. His lap times are right, but may have been in traffic. He's about a tenth of a second faster than the car ahead. We have got to remember, it's going to be thin margins between these drivers. You can see up on the timing board, actually. The likes of Maya was actually the fastest driver, or one of the fastest drivers on that last lap out in the top 10. The leaders aren't really pulling away. The gaps in that top 10 sort of maintaining right now. Everyone down the field very, very evenly matched as we have come to expect this season.
The field is very competitive. I believe we were down 30 spots before we did, like, everybody separate by a second. But that's the thing. Around a track where it's only with 50 seconds and average 49 seconds really going on right here, there is so little time to really make mistakes and really gain a lot of time. You're going to be having those more compressed fields than the tracks where, you know, you're going to have stuff that's in the minutes and everything. But yeah, a lot of things are happening right now that it's just a small track and there's just not a lot of time to go to be here. These corners are pretty, I would say, lowish medium speed corners, and everyone really has the same line going through them, and it's just marginal gains that some of these drivers are going through, and the rest is all set up and trickery with other things.
Yeah, I think you're right. Very little overtaking, by the way, out on the circuit right now. I'm constantly looking at the timing
Unless you're
board.
Michael Yanni.
Unless you're Michael Yanni. Although even he's kind of got a little bit of a pocket of air now. He's got 1.2 seconds ahead of him till James Parker. So even he's had a slight gap right there. But well, the top four, to be fair, are getting closer. Top three, remember, are all teammates. This is the highest up non-RPC esports driver. I feel like Stubek might just go for a dive here, Austin. I don't know about you. I feel like turn 2, he could go for a dive, and I feel like Godestad needs to be aware of that. Maybe just cover off the inside every now and then. A bit like turn 2 at Brands Hatch, you know. I think it's Druid's Bend, isn't it? Where you just take a middling line. You don't take the full arch. You just sort of trail break it in, and that sort of covers off any risk of a move from behind.
Yeah, the thing is, if you try to go for a move around the outside or you force the other car onto the outside, you have to leave the space. If you give the elbows out just a little bit, you risk the other car running into the barrier on the outside, and then that will be looked to the viewers of this, in the views of the stewards of, oh, you forced another car into the barriers, because there's no runoff on the apex on the outside of that corner. But here is Stobek looking down to the inside, gets covered off by Godestad. And you will see this. Godestad is going to be drifting out wide. Oh, there's contact! And Stobek getting the elbows out, pushing his way past Godestad. Well, there's forcing your way for a move, and then there's forcing your way for the move.
He couldn't make it stick initially, so when underneath, midway through the corner, was that car's foot there? Was the move on, or was it always going to end up in contact? I'm not quite sure.
So Godestad initially went defensive and then went wide through the middle of the corner as Stobek dived down to the inside to try to go for a switchback, but I'm going to be honest, I don't think there was any move there. This is Michael Yanni. Did he have an incident? Nope. Here's that. Well, here's Leon Penn behind Godestad, I believe.
Well, it's very close behind them, by the way, between Nord and Gadil and Co. I've just seen it like flash up red. We'll get a replay of this turn 2 instant first. Stobek looking to the inside. Being able to pull it.
Watch Godestad go wide right here. So Stobek really goes down to the inside, but he was all on the grass. I would say at least 2 wheels were on the grass right there when he switched back up down to the inside of Godestad. Just went a little bit wide. Stobek took that opportunity. Took the grass just a little bit as well. I think an outside shot would be even better, but he really baited this move to happen. Forced Godestad to really miss that breaking point. Oh, he was using the access road to make that turn. I've got to have to say, Stovek might be getting a penalty for that.
Yes, yeah. Will certainly be investigated, I imagine. Really close right now. Yanni's just been able to get past Lang and Yestrumbakken. By the way, that's for P20 out on circuit. And look at this. Ooh, they're almost coming to into a collision down a straight pretty much. Who's going to come out on top? Lang being able to sprint away as much as he possibly can. And
around they go! Is Yestrumbakken around at the final corner. Is that Josh Shu getting into the back of him? Oh, just a little tap right there from Lang and Josh Shu. Oh, he gives him a tap back at the corner entry. I think Matt just lifted off, and also I think Worm was the one back there who just lifted off, or Hammer was the one who lifted off to serve a slowdown penalty. So drivers are getting slowdown penalties here for cutting that part of the track. The turn 6, well, what is regularly referred to as Red Bull Ring turn 6, the right-hander, they can really go down to the inside. Speaking of the inside, Meyer on his teammate going down to the inside right here. And he's made the move, but watch the switchback. Here we go with the overspeed. Nold low 3 wide, heading into turn 2. Side by side by side, 3 wide, turn 2. Let's go. Nold and Meyer. Nold side by side. He's now starting onto the outside. He's going to be onto the inside from the next corner, though. He's going to take all the inside. That's going to be a slowdown for Nold, definitely. All 4 wheels definitely off the track, but Nold currently P8.
Yeah, surely that's got to be a slowdown. I would have thought it would be. And look at the carnage as well going on behind, trying to... Yeah, Christensen's maybe not served a slowdown or maybe reached the instant limit. I might have a check at that in a second. And yeah, but Deal now behind Meyer, who we're riding on board with. Just thought jump back a bit there, Deal, as they go back alongside. There's some fantastic news right now for Cuenza up the road, absolutely sprinting away as they, make a little bit more contact with the curb. And look at the attack right now for Deal. He's looking really competitive. Again, alongside brilliant speed available on the outside. I'm frankly a little bit surprised. It gives you the inside for the left-hander. I don't think there's a slowdown that time. I'm shocked that he didn't get a slowdown last time round, did not. He managed to keep that P7, but it's by no means over. And yeah, this pack going all the way back to Hasaug, back in 15th position.
Yeah, this pack, we gotta start talking about drivers getting off-track violations. Too many. We just saw Sergio head into the pits there to serve a drive-through penalty for the incident limit. We saw that happen with the #1 driver, Roger Christensen, and now we've seen it happen with Sergio. And the off-track counts are so high right now because everybody is just extending the track, and that is working. Well, that is working chaos through the field, and our top drivers are going to have to start looking at the off-tracks, especially if they're in a massive fight. Stovek is in 2nd place, and here's Merchant diving down to the, getting dove down to the inside, but he just done the perfect switchback move. That was Thomas Wangen who went for that move down to the inside on Daniel Merchant, but the Olympus Esports driver saw what was coming, and Merchant, well, expertly inside-outside switchback right there.
Christensen did not reach the instant limit. He's only on 7 at the moment. So it was something else, probably not serving a slowdown perhaps, or I don't know, but he actually came to a stop in his pit stall, maybe picking up a faster pair. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that one. Maybe we'll have a chat with him later on, but of course that's left him with a lot to do, as this is absolutely super close right now. Merchant still right with a right under pressure. Wangen this time is going to move past, and here comes Christensen gaining absolute leaps and bounds in these drives. Merchant realizes that it's not going to be worth batsing that one. He's already lost time to some of his class rivals, and he is just going to stay behind. He's still in P2 in class, is Merchant, as it currently stands.
Contact. Worm getting a little bump from Edwards in behind. But both drivers are able to keep it pretty tightly and pretty together, but that is going to slow them down as Wangen is right on the back of Edwards. Yeah,
I think it's only a matter of time till they are able to gain those couple of
overspeed right here.
places.
Wing and using all the track off the exit. A little time is going to be the extremely next corner. Is there a side-by-side down the front straightaway heading into turn 1? We're going to be seeing a dive by, yes we are. Dive down to the inside, but it's a lockup by Wingen. Wingen goes wide. Where did Wingen go? Oh, there's Wingen.
Oh, well,
he went
Edwards has
really
stayed
wide. And, well, he's dropped down 3 spots.
Yeah, and Edwards was involved in that one as well. Still Merchant is the one who is alongside just a little bit ahead of these drivers, and staying ahead of Koopmans. Although Gurdy, I think it might be 3 wide just ahead of Banging. Right now, there it goes. Who's going to come out on top? Merchant finishes in P3 in that battle. But the 2 ahead of him might really compromise their line, and this could allow the French driver right back into play. Instead has to hold back. Molderman is coming to the pits. That's definitely incidents. And Bangan has also come into the pit. So
that
not good news for the RPC driver.
Yeah, definitely not good day for the RPC team. They had a top 3 lockout. Then everything is just kind of happened going against them. Koopman's side just defending from Merchant. Merchant took a look down to the inside, but not going for that move. Merchant's been on a downhill slope so far. It seems like everybody's on a faster pace than Merchant, but a lot of the faster drivers are getting penalties or heading into the pit lane. We have had about 5 cars go into the pit so far, not due to an incident or just for a penalty or some sort of situation, as they are just falling down the field. And now our top 5 is Strom, Stobek, Gardestad, Johansson, and Penn, your top 5. Kunzer is in 6th place. And with all that chaos, Janney is in 15th from starting on the back 6 from having both laps invalidated in qualifying.
Lopsinger inversed as well for the second race. Could he get reverse good pole, Yanni? Or is he just going to be short? I think he's going to need some more drive-through penalties ahead of him if he's going to make it, Yanni. But well, he's not going to be far off. You can see a few cars ahead of him. But yeah, he's going to need a little bit of a few favours out there. Yeah, of course, I think you mentioned it earlier on, Austin, but Stobek up in 2nd position now, managed to get past. Or did he get past Gardestad in the first place? I'm just trying to think.
Gardestad was when Stobek died down to the inside and then elbowed his way through there. And
so, yeah,
Janney looked down to the inside of Beerhands, but Jacob Beerhands wonderfully defended, just glued to that inside line. Janney unable to get down to the inside, and the IGL Codex iRacing driver doing a very fantastic defensive drive on the overall championship leader. And Moritz Launer is in the pits lane now.
Yeah, so he's already had 1 setback, didn't he, on lap 2 when he spun round at turn 2. And yeah, now he's had to come into the pits once again. I will have a look at whether that is him.
I would say this is incident because that spin might have been 2x.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Drivers limited to 17 instants if the viewers aren't aware. 18 instants he is now on.
Yeah, so he is over.
And Josh Shaw as well has got a pit lane, a drive-through to serve. Yeah, and a few drivers, well, not too many drivers right on the cusp, but there are a few who need to watch out. Nold, Martinson, probably Leon Penn as well.
Well, we're looking at Nold right now, and he just went really wide off the exit, but he is defending from Andreas Meyer right behind him, and Nold is the what some might say the defensive shield to Kunzer up ahead, and Kunzer is currently the Pro-Am Championship leader. The Pro-Am Championship is the tightest of our 3 championships going on right now, with the top 5 separated just by 20 points.
Yeah, so very much open. It's that one. No drop scores, remember, in this series as well. So if you have a bad race, it is going to count. You can't just discard a race. And so, yeah, you really do need that consistency. And right now, Nod's doing very well. We've got a change for the lead. Stobek has moved ahead of Strom. And I think Strom... Oh, he's got a slowdown. He's pushed it too far, I think, on the exit of the penultimate corner. It has cost him. And Stobek has passed all 3 RPC Esports drivers.
Oh, that's wide. Yeah, that's pretty wide right there. And, oh, no, that's not a slowdown. He caught the back end on that rubble strip. and there's a little bit of dirt buildup on that rumble strip that he caught it on, and the back end just slipped out away, and there is Strom side by side. Does he lose a spot to Mads Johansson? Yes, he does. Johansson around the outside, and our new leader is Matthias Stobeck.
Wow.
And remember, Stobeck is under investigation for that overtake on Goddardstad, so Goddardstad is probably smiling right now.
Yeah, I mean, Goddardstad, you could argue, is in the race lead right now. So,
Yes.
If it ends up being a pit lane start for the next race, Verm is, well, has Verm lost a couple of places? Because Verm was ahead of Koopmans and Merchant, I think, but he's now down to P3 out of the amateur drivers, and he is behind Merchant. So
I think he had a spin at one point.
Yeah, Koopmans now is the leader in the pro of the AM category, so up 19 places. He didn't set a qualifying lap to Koopmans. He stormed his way through. Lots of the other AMs have had problems. Merchant has been in the walls we've seen all day long, and yeah, either with a spin, albeit he did just have a very poor first sector just now, so he lost 2 seconds due to this incident. I think this was contact with Emil Koopmans.
Yeah, this is Worm and Koopmans. I think this is Worm just getting pushed a little bit wide and getting onto the curves. Yep, there's the curves right there on the outside, and that just lost him a lot of speed. And there goes...
That was Merchant on the inside.
Merchant onto the inside. Does anything happen right here on the outside? Does he get just elbowed out? Or does he just really check up a lot right here side by side? I think this is just checking up and being safe about it. Yeah, he's just let the space down to the inside, let the Olympus Esports driver by, and I think the 302, well, he's just trying to eke his way down to the inside right there, but it's just cautious driving right now. And I would say when I was looking at this schedule for this series, this is the weirdest one. That's a lot of grass by the 111. Moritz Launer taking a lot of it to get ahead of Joshua Agzari. Like they were side by side through that pool. But this is a track that I believe that it's going to be a monkey wrench for most of the drivers. It's the most out there track out of all of them. It's the smallest track. It's the one with the least amount of turns. I would say it's the most oval-like track out there. And some of the drivers are going to be driving like it is a oval race in this 36-lap race. This is Christensen looking down to the inside of Josh Shu. Josh Shu is alongside of him, and he's cleared a mid-corner. Josh Shu, ooh, he's getting onto the curb just a little bit, and now Christensen under pressure by Moldovan. Moldovan could take a dive down to the inside. He does not, though. They both get past Josh Shu right there, who unfortunately got onto the curb on that outside. That really slowed up the car off the exit, because get onto that soft curb on the outside that might be removed in the future in real life. I'm not sure about right now. It really slows up the car.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, so it's something that these drivers have got to be cautious of. Around the rest of the circuit, there's barely any curves at all, so it does make quite a welcome change compared to the 1Xs that really marshal the rest of this circuit. Christensen and Moldovan, of course, already with problems. I think they'd be quite willing to just move their way up synchronized as they get past the few drivers ahead of them. As we move on to the closing stages of this race 1. As Stobeck crossing the line. Is that 3 more laps to go?
Yes, that is 3 more laps to go. 3 more laps for Stobeck to look at the check flag. Goddardstad, 3 more laps to, I have to say, chase him down. I believe Goddardstad is actually defended from Stobeck's teammate Johansson in 3rd place. So Johansson's got 3 more laps to look at the net lead in case there is a penalty. As this is the fight for 2nd place.
Yeah, Goddardstad just doing absolutely everything that he possibly can. What a result it would be for Apex Racing Academy if they get a 1-2 out of all of this. Looks very unlikely earlier on, but he's doing a decent amount of pressure right now. Is Johansson? Can he break Goddardstad? Because remember, Stobeck managed to get past at turn 2 earlier on past Goddardstad, albeit, as we've said a few times, it was a questionable move. I think he's a little bit too far back this time. They are coming up on some traffic as well, but I think Goddardstad is safe on
Gordon. That one. That is Gordon ahead of him. You can see Johansson all over the bumper right there. at turn 2, and Gordon is going to be... it's all going to depend on where Gordon is. This is the best spot to let them buy in. Yes, there he goes, down to the inside. Lets them both buy in. Johansson, he's got Strom right behind him as well. Strom had that spin, and oh, there's the opportunity right there. Gardestead went wide, and Johansson goes down to the inside. We got a spinner in the far corner. Watch out for the Olympus car. Oh, no, Gardestead. The Olympus Esports driver of Daniel Merchant spun at the final corner with the most unfortunate of attempts of rejoining right in front of our leaders. Gets involved with an incident of Gardestead. I don't believe it.
White flag is out, and it looks like we are going to have an Apex Racing Academy 1-2. Strong very close to Johansson. He's desperate to get back into that top 2. There's going to be Matthias Stobeck round the final corner to take the race win here at Red Bull Ring. In second position is Johansson. Strong finishes in third. Kuenza ended up in fourth position, albeit it was very close against Penn. Really close against Penn. Half a tenth of a second at the line. Behrens quickly overtakes Gollestad. I think Gollestad's had a problem right at the close of this race. He's trying to keep some pace up. Oh, look at the bonnet on that. There's no bonnet on that to look at.
Well,
and
that's
he's
from the...
limping to the line.
That's from that incident. Michael Yanni finishes in 11th. Gardestad down into 22nd as, well, the steward's going to have a lot of fun. They say Gardestad has probably had the most rough day out of all that moves in the podium. That final incident right there, but can make it up in the sprint race, but less amount of laps, less amount of things to go wrong. But what a chaotic first race. Heartbreak for Gardestad.
Yeah, it really was. And well, we'll take a quick break on Apex Racing TV. And then, yeah, we'll go through the race 2 of the evening. So we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome back to the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship Round 3 from the Red Bull Ring circuit, and there are our results from race 1. Stobeck up at the top, there was Johansson, Strom, Kuenza top of the Pro-Ams, Penn, Nold, Nold managing not to get a drive-through penalty. Impressive stuff. Maya was in 7th place. Not a bad result for him in the end. Deal, Key, and Herzog will be the top 10 and will be the reverse grid pole, will Herzog. So great news for him. Yanni just missed out all the way from the back. He just needed one more position, but don't count him out in race 2. Then it's Antoine Mays, Behrens, Top, Parker, Lang, Hammer. Yatortsus in 18th place, about half a minute off the lead. Then it was Christiansen who had a drive-through penalty. Moldovan, who I think came into the pits. Gurdiel, Godestad, who came into the pits. Lona, also Alzugare. Koopmans was just behind. And as we will go through the grid, the grid pretty much the same, but just the top 10 inverted. So Stobeck in 10th place and Herzog at the top. Racing Lab 1-2 right there. Austin, do you think that could be a big advantage for the teammates?
It definitely could be with the start of this race, though. Going through the race, we've seen teammates work together, but sometimes they focus more on the teammate things that might slow them up into the clutches of Ross Deal and Andreas Meyer behind them. I feel like for the first 10 laps, though, it's going to be a very organized thing. Glenn Key is going to, though, have his hands full.
Yes, he absolutely is. Yeah, if they can possibly work together, then they're going to have to do it. But we'll see if it works out for them. Few drivers yet to take the grid. I think Merchant, after that big impact, maybe not taking the grid for race 2. May have broken his wrist, frankly, if he's on direct drive. As the 5 lights are about to come on here for race 2 of the evening at the Red Bull Ring. And away we launch. The teammates get away all right. So a particularly good start for Herzog. Deal already behind Mai. They might even go through wide heading into turn 1. Any big moves down the inside? They're mainly staying double file right now as they go into turn 2 on this first lap of the race. Sprinting away is Herzog. Absolutely mega start for him. Key defending all the way to the inside. They go through turn 2. Are we going to have some of the similar problems as we had in turn 1? At the front at least. It seems very well organised. Almost single file many of these drivers going into already. And the top 5 all in the same positions as they were at the start.
Yeah, Deal really wants to get past Key because Andreas Meyer is the teammate of our leaders. And Meyer's looking onto the outside of Deal right now, trying to make that move as, oh, we got a spinner! We got a spinner in the final corner, and around is, oh, chaos around at the final corner. Was that Stobeck?
Yeah.
Andreas Stobeck, Matthias Stobeck is around. Pete Wadsworth is in the pits as well. Multiple cars involved at the start of this race. And there's Stobeck making contact with 2 cars, one of the Orion cars and one of the IGL Coatings cars.
Was Behrens who he made contact with for IGL. I'm not sure who the other one was. But yeah, bad news. And I think the original contact may have been with Kim Andre Strom right there as we get another replay of it.
Oh,
was it Strom?
I think you got tagged from behind. Strom making contact with Stobeck. And, well, some might see that and say karma. And some might see that and just shaking their head. Very rough day here. And we're just starting out the sprint race. This is Moritz Honor putting some pressure on Parker up ahead. Big defensive move up behind him. Those drivers are going through. That's Christensen and Madovan going side by side. Christensen on the outside, Madovan's onto the inside of that battle for 15th. Christensen's getting his nose ahead, but now Madovan's going to have that inside line. As Moritz Lohner is glad to be ahead of that fight. We got a replay of our start going on right now. Look at this. 4 wide. Is that Wagan? Sending up the inside right there, and oh my gosh, chaos on the outside. A few drivers getting bumped around and winging. Caught up in the middle there, and let's turn around to that chaos. Back live. Moritz Lohner, 13th.
Leader of the ARMS, by the way, currently Emil Koopmans. Borkland's had an epic start. Borkland started in 32nd, he's up into 20th. absolutely wonderful stuff from him, and you can see he's not far off the amateur race lead right now. Leader of the Pro-Ams is Anders Meyer, who of course started at the front of the Pro-Ams. He's managed to keep that P4 position as that's wide. Oh, and we've got a spinner in the back. That's Falkland, and that's a curse, and I managed to do a couple of curses on Saturday, but that is absolutely treacherous right there. Oh, he was having such a good race, was the Norwegian driver, but I think he's dropped it by himself.
Yeah, that's just too much mustard right there. You might have got onto the curves, but I think this is just, he's already losing it heading into the corner. Too much mustard. Borklund off in the gravels on the outside of the track. And the Sim Racing Norway driver, another Norway region driver going off as well. That was Gordon Hogg, the 371 driver.
Very close for the lead at the moment. Just a long queue of cars. No overtakes in the top 10 from what I've seen recently. It's we have Christiansen battling Gadil. Gadil's been in a fair few battles so far tonight, and this is going to be another one.
These two in race number 1 both stirred a pit lane penalty. They had to go into the pits throughout the race. In the middle of the race, Christensen wasn't due to incidents. It was due to a slowdown penalty. And Sergio, I think it was due to incidents. So both these drivers are trying to improve on that race 1 performance and bounce back to get into the top 10. It might happen up ahead as they're 3 wide. James Parker stuck in the middle as that is Lang diving out to the inside. Parker getting the elbows out and pushing Lang wide as that will be Dovan down to the inside right there. But Sergio, well, he's got an opportunity right here on the 223 of Lang. Lang was pretty tight right there. Sergio's looking onto the outside right here. As there goes side by side into the final complex of corners. Still side by side. And Sergio's going to just be pretty wide. Lang's going to have to go tight, but Sergio, Lang, that was beautiful right there.
Side by side for the lead. And Key is now leading this race. He's got past his teammates, but now there goes Deal managing to get underneath as well. That was not choreographed well from the teammates. I'm surprised they weren't just, biding their time, but instead just dropping down the order very quickly. Is Hersaug is now Racing Lab 1, 2, 3, 4 as it was before, but very different configuration to what it was previously. And you can also see Johansson up 3 places. He's alongside. I think that was Nicholas Nold right there. Is he able to make that move on the outside? No, he has to stay behind.
Cuser has went spinning in the background as Strom has gone into the pit lane. I think Strom and Kuenzer might have had an incident with each other because we just had both of them toe back into the pit lane behind all this chaos, and they were right there for all that chaos. Look at Strom and Kuenzer. What has happened? Did one of the drivers ahead? Oh, there's a tap. One of the Apex Racing Academy. Oh, no. And Strom's day goes from bad to worse to even more bad.
Yeah.
Oof.
Wow, so some of our big scorers in race 1 having problems in this race 2. It's great news for Michael Yanni because, I mean, he didn't do great in race 1, but he still got some decent points.
Strom finished around 4th place.
I mean, it should have been higher.
He finished 3rd. He was in the lead when he had his incident. When he spun out of the lead, he got it back in 3rd place. But that is, you would expect Strom to just go for the lead in that first race without that incident. But that is the ultimate incident of incidents right there. Immediate toe, shadow realm.
Yep, as Penn is doing all that he can to hold back Michael Yanni right now, but Yanni. Apologies. Yeah. So Yanni's now ahead in that battle. So he's up into P7, and he's got his teammate just ahead of him. So making some progress is Yanni. He is now about 3 seconds off the race lead, so he does need to make some progress in the near future if he's going to take this sprint race victory. I'm just looking down at some other battles. Top of the AMS is still Koopmans. He's now up to 16th position. Epic work here from Koopmans. You can see they're not too far behind those top 10 drivers at the moment. Utortus is behind him, and then also Verm, I think, is trying to make his way past. Verm had problems in race 1, led the AM category for most of race 1, but he seems to have got his pace back in this race too. I think he's just got past Martinson right there. But he's currently a little bit squished in the middle right now between the IGL Coatings car ahead and the WU and apologies, and the Olcantech driver behind. Ooh.
And that is Medokiev stopped in the middle of the track. That might be hardware. You saw the wheels kinked off to... Yeah, that's hardware. You see the wheels kinked off to the left. I think we might see a very interesting vehicle behavior from him.
Yeah, it's going to be odd.
Nope.
Hey, this is from a previous lap? Yeah, it's from
Nope.
a previous lap.
We just saw Medokiev. Yep, there he is. Yeah, that's a hardware issue right there. He's just pretty much slowed down and stopped.
It was a
And
good effort.
you can hear the engine revving, so I think that is just hardware failure.
Wow, look at this train. He seems to have the measure of deal right now. That gap's staying around half a second, and it's a lead 7 right now. Penn's actually lost touch with these drivers a little bit. I'm not sure if he made a mistake. Also, a bit of traffic as well actually involved in these drivers. I know Luka Domko is involved in this, but is not for position. So you have got to be careful, as of course this is by far the shortest circuit that we visit all season long. And so those lap traffic is particularly prominent, as Nold is looking very quick right now. Can he make that move on Hersauk, who of course was leading for the first few laps of this race?
Yeah, he was leading, and all that chaos happened as everybody on the shortest track of the season just going to be pretty careful on how they do overtakes. Next race, we head over to Watkins Glen, which would be the longest. I would say the longest.
I think Imola's the longest, but Watkins Glen might be joint second, I think.
Yeah.
But it's the classic layout as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no bus, which would be the fastest race of the season, speed-wise.
Yes. Yeah, it might be a short broadcast that, because these races are distance, not time. So we might be done in about 20 minutes for that one, because that is a rapid circuit, especially with the new scan with the S's. That much more easy flats out.
Well, they don't even go up. They don't even use the bus stop in the class layout. It's just straight on. But yeah, the new pavement is, and really relaxed track limit rules is going to be very interesting to see how these drivers use that track. And I'm going to enjoy being on the iRacing forums next week.
Yes, James Parker has just been overtaken by Christiansen. So Christiansen now up 7 places, up into P12 right there. So that is good news for him. By the way, we've got drivers still running down to 35th place. We've got a fair few retirees. Quite a few drivers didn't even take the starts of this race, if I am looking at the screen correctly. Yeah, we've only got, well, we've still got over 30 drivers running in this race, but yeah, a few retirees with the collisions that have been out on circuit. And this is your Tortus right now. He is, trying to get past Koopmans, although your Tortus was overtaken by Koopmans, so if anything, it might actually be the Dutch driver who starts pulling away. Of course, still leader in the amateur category is Koopmans right now. As Goddestad is going to be under pressure.
No, he's attacking.
Apologies, yeah.
Yeah, he's made that move pretty easily. As Scarrett's onto the outside. Goddestad, though, really took a lot of the inside line. And, oh, is that a slowdown for Goddestad? I think it was. Oh.
Tough.
He cut the course, making the move, and picked up a slowdown penalty for that. Oh, Goddestad. Well, if you want to talk about a bad to worse to even worse day, that's Goddestad's day so far.
Defending champion, remember? That's why he's got... apologies, not the defending champion.
That's Christensen.
Runner-up last season was Goddestad. Very close championship between himself and Christensen. So yeah, shame that he's not able to repeat those many race victories he got last season. Still just sort of waiting for this to kick off. I mean, still, Key just has this one in hand. I mean, it's not a comfortable lead, but he's never been under pressure. I think it's going to be one of these academy drivers who get past most likely, because Yanni and Johansson are continuing to make progress. Here is Johansson. Or are we going to see Noel pull off a good defense? Noel has been very quick. He'll be frustrated. He hasn't been able to get
Oh, they're
past
bumping wheels.
into
They're
fourth
banging.
place
He's
so
going
far.
to push him out wide.
And perhaps a slowdown as well that he's going to have to pick, but that's going to be the least of, well, it will need to be a worry, but he will be more frustrated that he's lost 3 positions there after being so close to Herzog for so many laps. Johansson now going very deep, and is he in fact letting his teammate go?
Letting him by. I think he went wide to serve that slowdown penalty and use that time that he's lifted off the throttle and gone slow to minimize the time lost so far from that slowdown penalty he did to dive down to the inside. Yanni up into 5th place and being helped by his teammate. But I would say the Apex Racing Academy drivers might have a target on their back in the upcoming weeks, because they've been very aggressive with their driving style so far today.
Yes, they have been, as Goldstead making up another, making back a place after that slowdown earlier on. By the way, quick shout out to one of our sponsors, SDK Gaming, the providers of our overlay that you see up on screen. We also use the live timing in the background, and you can use SDK as a HUD as well for whilst you're racing. Calculates your fuels whilst you're on the go, and yeah, it's some absolutely fantastic kit if you want to get faster, and also just looks really, really cool. Up on screen, lots of different templates as well that you can customize yourself if you know a little bit of CSS. So do check out sdk-gaming.co.uk in order to get yourself a subscription. As Johansson, well, in fact, actually, Johansson dropping back into the clutches now of Leon Penn, who suddenly refound his pace. Penn, I think, made a mistake about 5 laps into this race, but he seems to be back faster.
Yeah, this is that is Thomas. His car down the inside right there. Now there's Grishtermachen on the inside, and Thomas turned on to him and goes into the pit lane from that instant. There's a lot of smoke on track right now. This is ahead of him, and there is Grishtermachen, lapped car. And I think I now understand why why that entire incident just happened. Lapped car on the inside, just thought he was going to break in to continue on, but no, that lapped car is just going to be driving on and not really getting out of the way. Not really getting out of the way in opportunities that he can't, lifting off of very aggressively, and this is kind of separating off, but Johansson is being caught by Penn. There's another lapped car making ways from there, so our top leaders, our top leading train has got traffic all the way through there. Penn on aggressiveness to Johansson. Johansson defending onto the inside. Penn looking for a dangerous outside move. Can he hold around the outside mid-quarter? No, he cannot. Falls right behind Johansson.
Yeah, Johansson not quite with the pace that we've seen him, at least at Hockenheim earlier on in the season, when he was a solid P2, if I recall, on that day. Had to make a lot of moves in race 2 after a poor start, but just not quite as comfortable as he was back then. The top 2 are a little bit closer to one another. Just a quick reminder, once again, Key leader of the Pro category, Meyer leader of the Pro AMs, doing an amazing job right now. It's Anders Meyer up there in P3 overall, and still Koopmans leading the way in the amateurs right now. And he's got a few cars between himself and Taras. So Taras is up 16 places from his race start. Haven't really talked about the Romanian all day. Of course, been our dominant driver in that category all season, but he's sort of under the radar, made up a lot of places. He's up into 19th right now. There he is, and he is trying to chase down Martinson, who is up 24 places himself. Another quick shout out, by the way, to Virtual Racing School, another sponsor of this broadcast. Virtual Racing School offering data packs for 50 different cars. Of course, that includes setups, track guides, one-on-one coaching sessions, also that fantastic telemetry software, which helps you identify exactly where you are losing time to compare to pro drivers at each circuit of an official series. So do check out virtualracingschool.com to get yourself a subscription. As Koopman still very happily well away from Taras, and looks like he's going to get a double race victory. mistake for Jenkins here.
Oof. 155 really avoided a nasty hit right there. I think Jenkins just lost out on his own.
Yeah, I think so. I think he already had damage.
Yeah, he did already have damage, and after spending a while in the middle of the track, decides to go into the pit lane.
They just got a few more corners, frankly, to go. And
10.
still there's no overtake from Deal, but he has got closer, and Maya's got closer as well. The Apex Racing Academy drivers aren't going to get involved. Yanni has got past Hersalg though in the background. There you can see him, he's up into 4th position. That's good for his championship, but it's still Key who is hanging on right now. 3/10 to a second clear, and I think Deal is going to have to go for an all or nothing move in order to make this.
Yeah, white lag is coming up, so what's the deal, son? You're going to go for the move, or you're going to stay back there? Top 3 in action, final lap here at Red Bull Ring for the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. And here comes Deal. Deal looking onto the inside, but he's defended well by Key. Key and Deal nose to tail each other. Deal being forced to go onto the outside, and Key defending onto the inside. And there is Meyer. Meyer, the Pro-Am Championship driver with the overspeed around the outside. Deal swings it on for the lead. And now Key attacking onto the inside. And Key and Deal, they make contact. They're in the wall. Andreas Meyer is in the lead. Michael Yanni is in second. And Herzog is in third. Big contact in the turn 2 on the final lap. Chaos, Deal, and Key in the wall.
They were absolutely desperate, both of them, to win it. They weren't going to accept anything else. And Meyer was just patient behind. He knew that was his best chance to just let them go at it. And it's going to be the Pro-Am driver, the Norwegian Anders Meyer for Racing Lab Esports, to take the race win at race 2 at Red Bull Ring.
For the second race in a row, the second sprint race in a row, a Pro-Am driver walks home winner on the final race of the day. And I think it was Meyer last week as well. Here is a replay of Ross, Deal, and Michael Key. Deal had an amazing amount of speed, but watch how late he goes onto the brakes. He held a lot of speed off the exit. He just blew past that curb around the outside, gave a little tap to Deal, to Key on the inside. He left a lot of space onto the side, and then Key really sent it right there and both of them into the wall. And that's what gave Myers the victory. Yeah, that wall on the outside, well, I know there's a lot of controversy on holding off track limits. How do you help drivers determine track limits? The wall on the outside will certainly do that, but you know that will also happen. And there's Andreas Myers burning it down here at Red Bull Ring.
And in the end, Key ended up in P9, Deal was in P11. So it wasn't the end of the world for the two of them. But, I mean, that was...
End of the race,
they'll be annoyed. There's many words to describe it, and annoyed is maybe one of the nicer words to describe it as. Yeah, I think Key was absolutely desperate to hold on to that one. But yeah, it's a shame. Meyer though with that race victory, the 282 up at the top. Yanni in the end finishing in P2. Didn't really make that many moves, did Yanni? But he sort of just picked up on a few mistakes from his rivals and was able to make his way through. Remember, he didn't do qualifying, so he basically gained about 40 odd places across the two races. Carl Friedrich Hersalg was in 3rd place. Didn't really have the pace. Like, dare I say, he was probably the 9th or 10th fastest driver out there, but just solid. You know, didn't fight the battles that he didn't need to fight and finished in a very good P3 in the end. There was Mazia Hansen, Moritz Lohner, Leon Penn, Bogdan Moldovan, who did well, gained a lot of places actually, did Moldovan. Then it was Nold, Glenn Key, who'll be annoyed. Christiansen gained 9 places. Deal, of course, had that spin at the end. There was Gerdior under the radar. He gained 9 places. Lang was P2 out of the Pro-Ams. Parker was in 14th and Torp 15th. Koopmans was our top of the AM drivers and brings himself back into championship contention in the AMs. There's your Tortus. Martinson gained 24 places, highest gainer of anyone in that race too. Taras was in 19th place overall. He gained a lot of places as well. There's Jestrin Bakker, Verm. Merchants only just took the grid right at the end, but he still finished in a decent position, up 12 places. There was Alzugare, Borkland, who had a spin. Apologies, Kim Andre, that was my fault. Golestad, Marriott, Hammer, Horg, Scarrett, Behrens, Domko, Strom, Vangen, Jenkins, Edwards, Maldecleve, Kuenza. These drivers will not be scoring points, by the way. Kuenza, Mays, Horn, Stobeck, Jarshell, and Wadsworth. Leifert, Wilhelmsen, Chapman, Moons, and Minot did not seem to take the start for race 2 of the evening. So we have got loads of interviews. This is what we want to see. Austin, who would you like to drag in first?
Oh, you got to go with the sprint race winner. He's probably the most pumped up about that. Anders Meyer, we do have standing by, so let's bring him in. Anders, how do you want to sum up that entire final lap?
Hectic. That was crazy. I feel really bad for Glenn. He has done. It's hard for people who not know him to really realize how impressive it is, because he hasn't driven for several months, and he comes back, started practicing yesterday, and he stays up there. So really, I feel really bad for Glenn, but I'm really happy for the victory as well. So I can't complain.
Yeah, can't complain with a sprint race victory up there, and also a very impressive race in race number 1 as well. Red Bull Ring was certainly a toss-up for the most chaotic race when we all saw the schedule. What was your mindset heading into this race? Any plans heading into it?
The only plan was to stay on the track and not get off tracks. And turn 4, the curb there is really scary and slippery. So the plan was just to stay on track and do as good as I could. See how the race turned out. But I got a slowdown in the second to final corner in the race 1 on lap 1. So I fell down a lot of places. But I don't know if I could have climbed much in race 1. But yeah, I still feel bad for that. But again, it gave me a good grid position in race 2. So it was good in the end.
Well, we go from one of the weirdest tracks we have in iRacing, the track configurations in iRacing, to a track more normal, known to most of the drivers at Watkins Glen Classic next round. How are you looking forward to next round here?
I think it's gonna be a lot more overtaking because of that long straight on the back there, and generally a lot more overtaking opportunities. So I think it's gonna be a good track for the viewers, but it will be a nerve-wracking show like this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of our nerves up in the box and on the track are going to be a lot less stricken next week, but it's going to be very entertaining as well. But congrats on the sprint race victory, Anders. Before we let you go, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, obviously the team. We have worked together before this race. It's been long since we have driven this much together, so that's nice. I have to thank our sponsors, KTM, Racing Lab, and CarX.no, and to our team manager, Daniel Størkersen. He hides away in the back, but he makes the team going, and thanks to all of them.
Well, congrats on a fantastic week. We'll see you next week, and I feel like your points total is going to be giving you the Pro-Am lead by a certain gap leading into next week. Sam is in the booth joining with another driver. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam, do you copy?
Hello?
Oh, apologies. I just realised I was muted. My bad. Emil had a very good race tonight. A couple of really good results. Top of our amateur category. I believe in race 1, but certainly in race 2. But first up, Emil, what happened in qualifying?
I don't know what to say. I have a kind of a hate-love relationship with this track. I only get off tracks. In the practice, I think I had like 70 off tracks in 20 laps. I don't like this track. So I thought I'll take qualifying slowly. So I was cautious, and then I was too cautious, and then I had off track in both my laps, so I had to start from the back, unfortunately. So yeah, that's what happened, and then I was like, oh no, that's never gonna be a good race. But I don't know what happened in race 1, but everything just seemed to click, and I managed to overtake actually some people on track. It was also kind of it was a little bit of chaos, unfortunately, but yeah, I had a really smooth race 1.
Yeah, it just seemed very streamlined. I mean, you seemingly caught up to the amateur drivers, or the top amateur drivers, near the end of the race and managed to pull it out. It seemed like so much chaos was going on around you, and yet you managed to gain, I think, 30 odd positions in the end across the 2 races. I mean, how were you able to avoid all that mess?
I think it's a combination of luck and also practice, I guess. You can't practice avoiding crashes, but I've been practicing this track quite a bit, even though I don't like it. So the speed was there, I just needed to keep it on track. And then, yeah, if you have so much overspeed, it's easier to overtake the, well, with all due respect, a little bit slower drivers then. I was able to, most of the times, overtake in either turn 1 or turn 2 with having a good exit. And then, I guess, if you have a lot of practice, it comes a little bit easier. And well, I have also quite a decent car control, I'd say.
Absolutely, certainly seems to be the case tonight. What are you guys at the Apex Missers, which is an excellent team name, by the way? Are you guys focusing on the Porsche Cup at the moment? I mean, what's the team kind of setting their sights on right now?
I've been trying to get them to race more Porsche Cup, and they haven't for quite a long time. And then I had a recovery after a surgery, and then all of a sudden they started driving the car that I liked. But unfortunately, I'm fully recovered now, and most of the team actually do it from time to time. Actually did some officials yesterday, and a league race on Monday as well. So I think we're like 4 or 5 people that regularly drive the Porsche Cup. Out of the 10 people, I guess. But yeah, I think it's the most fun car in iRacing. If it would be the only car in iRacing, I would be fine with it as well.
Definitely. Well, you're certainly driving it very impressively right now, Emil. Hopefully you can keep up this good form for the second half of the season. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Not yet actually. Oh, to all the Apex Missers, and I guess they're watching because I said I could get interviewed. So, well, shout out to all the Apex Missers. Well, thanks for the interview.
No problem. Great to have you up in the commentary box, and yeah, we'll see you back next week.
Okay, will do. Bye bye.
Emil Koopmans there, your race winner in both race 1 and 2 in the amateur category. Austin, who are we talking with next?
Well, I think Carl Frederick Herzog is going to have a very interesting take on this race. He started up on pole in the sprint race, and he finished 3rd, but that was not the full story with Carl here today. But, you know, I think Carl is got a very good look at this entire day. He finished 3rd in the sprint race, 10th in the feature first race here today. Carl, how was your day so far?
It's quite good, thank you. My pace was around where I expected it. I was hoping for a bit more pace, but well, I didn't have it. So pole in the second race was quite shocking, and the race was very good after that.
Yeah, you had your teammate Glenn right behind you at the start. Was there a little bit of teammate communication on what was going to happen on the first part of this race?
We didn't have a plan per se, but I knew he was faster, so if I could find a way to let him by, I would do it. Instead, he found a way to pass me, so that's how we solved it. And then also I could let Anders by, because he's also a teammate. And then the rest of this was just trying to stick with those guys and protect them.
All right, thank you, Carl, for that wonderful show out there today. As I believe is standing by with Lucas Lang.
Yes, Lucas joins us in the commentary box now. Congratulations, Lucas. A little bit under the radar, at least, but some really, really solid results. 12 places gained in race 1 to finish in 16th place, and then a 13th in race 2. You must be very pleased about sort of maximising that result tonight.
Yes, it was actually quite a fun race. It was really tough. So because the track is so short, there's traffic everywhere, and but this makes it so much more enjoyable. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw a few drivers get drive-through penalties across the race. How tight were you on those off tracks? Were you able to, leave a little bit of margin for error there?
Yes, I actually had the chance yesterday to do an official race. And I noticed how tight it will get with the off tracks. So I basically tried to don't get any off tracks at the beginning of the race. So I had some left for the end if I need to maybe get into a battle and maybe there will be some contact and to avoid to getting 4x and therefore getting a drive through. So I had this in mind the whole race. Yeah.
It looked like you were very close to James Parker and Thomas Torp at the end of that race. Of course, you guys are all in the same category of racing. I mean, have you raced against those guys in the past in like other series, or is this like the first time that you've raced against many of these drivers?
I don't think that we raced in another series, but the names sound familiar from the iRacing officials. But I didn't race the Cup car in a long time in the officials, but I think we raced against each other in an official before, yeah.
Next up, we are going to Watkins Glen. It's the classic layout, the shortest of all the Watkins Glen layouts. What do you think the race is going to be like around there? I mean, do you think that's going to be like a draft fest, do you think? Or do you think it will actually be possible to sort of pull away?
It's just the one without the boot sections, I think, or is it?
Yes, yeah.
I actually raced a Cup Porsche race there on this layout before, and it basically will be a lot of driving in a draft, and it will be hard to overtake actually, I think. So last time I drove there in the Cup car on this layout, it was pretty hard to overtake. Yeah.
Okay, and so where would you say the best overtaking chances are going to be? Is it going to be turn one, maybe at the end of the back straight? Where do you think those chances are going to arise, or at least the few of them that are going to arise?
I think probably turn one and maybe the end of the long straight.
Okay, well, we will see if that comes to fruition next week. Is there anyone you'd like to give shout out to, Lucas?
Yeah, first of all to my team for all the support they always give us, and also to my family, and last but not least to you guys. As always, you do an amazing job. I really like this league. I really like the commentating, so great job.
Awesome, thank you very much. Don't listen to the start of the stream. If you have high opinions of us, it's an absolute mess, so just skip until about 10 minutes in.
Okay, will do.
And you should be sorted. Great to chat with you, Lucas, and yeah, best of luck in 7 days' time.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Lucas Lang there, finishing in P16 in race 1 and P13 in race 2. I think he was the second highest point scorer in the Pro-Am category. It'll be close.
Yes.
I'm not sure about that one, but yeah,
Meyer
I think he was
top.
Yeah, my top by margin. So almost best of the rest in that category was Lang. I think we saw a few incidents out there, Austin, but I still think the driving standards in this series continue to be high. I think we saw on a few occasions drivers just get desperate though for all those moves. There's so few overtaking opportunities around this circuit that if you see a half chance, a lot of the drivers who are going for it, even if that involves, barging some doors.
Yeah, this being the league that most drivers are using to get prepared for the Porsche Esports Super Cup qualifiers on the weekends, they're going to leave it out on the table. They're going to try things that they don't usually try. See, this could work. This couldn't work. I could do this to get an advantage this way. Or, if push comes to shove, they're going to push you. And at times, we saw drivers really go for a push. And, sometimes the drivers who are not even competing in the Porsche Esports Super Cup due to issues by not racing on Saturdays, this is their main championship that they're going for. They just get desperate at times, and we saw that with the final lap moves, some of the very aggressive moves that we've seen here, but I feel like drivers are this is the most competitive league out there. So they're just going to go for it, and, at times, especially at a track like this, where there is very little overtaking opportunity, you're going to have to make your overtake opportunity, and I always hate it, but I'm not gonna force myself to say it. It feels like I've go back 20 years on myself if I actually say it, but this is like an oval. They're going to drive like an oval track. Next week we head to Watkins Glen, as we were listening to Carl and Myers say. It's a draft track. It's a very fast track, and it's going to be very exciting to see what happens next week. Sam, any closing comments?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Watkins Glen round is going to be absolutely mega. I think everyone should try to watch it if possible. I was surprised by his comment that there's not going to be much overtaking. I would have thought the carousel there'll be lots of overtaking, tricky to defend around that corner, but we will see if that is the case, and yeah, the type of action that we see out there next week. We never gave a shout out actually to Apex Racing Academy, who are another one of the sponsors. Great thing about Apex Racing Academy is that they have a 1-month free subscription to every driver who signs up to this series, which is really good. And that subscription, of course, gives them access to tracks, the data packs, the track guides as well, and also the group coaching sessions, which are absolutely useful. If anyone signed up to Apex Racing Academy who hasn't used the group coaching sessions, they are so good because you basically get to chat with a pro driver who gets to tell you exactly what you need to be working on. So that is really good stuff. Do check out apexracingac.com in order to get a bronze, silver or gold subscription to the service. Of course, if you've enjoyed this video, do please leave a like on it, subscribe to Apex Racing TV, and check out our social media pages on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. We've got more broadcasts coming up in the near future. East Coast Thunder Esports series is, I think, tonight. And also Racing Lab is on tomorrow. That's new to Thursdays. Then Radical Racing Challenges on Friday. We've got the Formula 4s on Saturday, Formula 3.5 on Saturday, Spec Racer Ford on Sunday, IGP Fun on Sunday, and then iRacing as well on Monday. Loads of stuff going up on Apex Racing TV. Do make sure to try to watch as much of it as you possibly can. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Austin Knight, and from Luis Araya, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you back next time at Watkins Glen. See you then.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar world champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.